I thought that was like planned.
Well, of course it was. No, just kidding. Good morning.
Yes, that is wonderful.
Who knew?
Yes. The more you know. Yeah, how about that? And when he mentioned their name, I'm like, OMG, yes, they were executed for treason.
Yeah.
So
And
crazy.
connection to W.B. Du Bois.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because a lot of the Black leaders during that time period were connected to communism in some way.
Yeah,
Um,
because that was social justice.
yeah, social justice. It was their form of resistance against a system that put money and
Capitalism.
jobs and capitalism before humans and civil rights and human rights. So
Three
that
evils. Three evils of society.
yeah, that makes sense. That's so interesting. The
Yeah.
more you know. I knew there was a Jewish man who wrote it. I didn't realize the history had so many twists and turns.
I didn't either. I just looked that up. Like I said, I was about to post it to my Google Classroom, and I was like, well, let me listen to it. I dropped it in there so that when you came on, I could like tell you, what I saw or what I learned. But then it started playing, so I was just going to go read it, and then it started playing automatically, and so
Oh my
I
God.
started listening to it, and I turned back to the video to our meets, and I saw that my mic was on. I was like, oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. No, that was good. I was like, oh, she's setting the mood. Setting the mood. So good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all. For the Northeast students, if you have received the news, can you please refrain from sharing that right now? We will talk about it later. And
I want to know the tea.
well, we're gonna have to talk. It's
Yes.
it's really complicated, and I don't want to have that conversation in front of the kids. I want to talk to you first, and then we can try to figure this thing out. But the continuity of education plan for Northeast High School was shared literally an hour before I came. That's why I was a little bit late because the meeting ran over to about 11:01. So that was shared. And I know that some teachers are going to be sharing that information, even though the principal is not officially releasing it till the afternoon. So just in case anybody came on to have that conversation, let's hold off
Okay.
on that. And then, because I also want to talk to you
Yeah.
first before I have that conversation with the kids. I'm still just trying to wrap my head around it. So
Yeah, I just got off of Zoom too with the social studies department, the principal, assistant principal.
are you guys sticking with the AB schedule?
Yeah, nothing is changing as far as the AB schedule, but they said they're going to release a framework next week. It's not going to change the AB schedule. I'm just wondering what that is and what it will look like. So I'll keep you posted on that too.
Okay. All right. So that was wonderful. That was like a really good start to the class. I'm going to start presenting. I had to get my charger because I went from 80% to 10% just because of that phone call.
Yeah, I was on 8%.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yikes. So let me see if there's anything in the chat before I start presenting. Hi, Tiff, and Sam, and Irma, Simone, and Cameron, and Rukaya. I just love saying your name. She probably like, please stop saying my name like that. And Ken. I think I got everybody. And Aileen. Hey. Okay, I think I got everybody.
You saw me?
Oh, hey. Oh, wait.
Tamara.
I'm about to call you Tam Tam. Hey, Tamara. So we have this running joke because, and I'm talking and presenting at the same time. So I'm like, I wish the lady would stop talking. I have a friend named Tamara, and it's spelled the same way. And like all year, I've been calling Tamara Tamara, and I've been calling Tamara Tamara. And Tamara is not happy. So I started calling her Tam Tam. And she's like, you can't call me Tam Tam.
Oh, man. It's just going to be tea in
But
a minute.
I would get it. I would get it when we're not in school.
I'm good.
So we need to do our little breathing because we didn't breathe yesterday. So we're going to do a little bit of breathing.
Yes.
Ooh. Get some water here. All right. All right. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna just do it sitting down since I'm already here. So I want everybody to relax. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath in and release it out slowly. Deep breath in. And release it slowly. Deep breath in. And release. Deep breath in. And release. And one more. Deep breath in. And release. All right. That just always just relaxes me.
Yeah, it does.
So necessary. Oh my goodness. All right. So I'm curious, have you or someone in your family ever migrated before? And by migrated, I mean, have you moved from one place to another? And it doesn't necessarily have to be from one country to another. It could be from one neighborhood to another neighborhood or one city to another city. So if you have, if you guys are so inclined, please share that in the chat box. Or you can do a hand emoji and raise your hand and share.
Ooh.
Rukaya, I finally figured out who you are. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. I've been putting two and two together. I won't say your mommy's name, but that's so cool. So my grandma moved from Pakistan to America. That is a big move. Sam, you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're from Liberia to America.
Liberia
Yeah,
to
to
America.
America. Yeah, my mom and my brother.
And so, Sam, in moving from Liberia to America, are you descended from the indigenous Liberians, or are you descended from like the African Americans who left America and moved to Liberia, since that was the colony that was set up by European powers? I should say by European and American powers. So are you descended from African American turned Africans again? Or are you descended from like the indigenous Liberians?
Like the indigenous Liberian.
Okay. That is so interesting. So for those of you who don't know, we kind of mentioned it a little bit before, but Liberia was a colony that was set up in Africa for Black people who wanted to leave America and migrate back to Africa. And this was a policy that was supported by some Blacks. It was a policy that was supported by Lincoln, actually. He actually wanted Africans to, they were considering moving to the Caribbean, to a British-owned island in the Caribbean, and there were other places. Ultimately, they settled on Africa. And there were a lot of people that were like, why should we move back to Africa when we've been here for, you know, for forever at this point. So it's really interesting because once Black Americans came to Liberia, unfortunately, they brought that colonialist mindset, and they weren't very nice to the indigenous Liberian people, and it caused a lot of friction and ended up in a war that went on. And so I always have to ask, if I meet someone that's Liberian, I always ask them to clarify, are they like descended from African Americans who moved to Liberia, or are they descended from indigenous Liberians? So fun fact for you guys. Irma, she said her Wi-Fi hates her. Oh no, that's for your Wi-Fi. It's gonna act right now. So my parent moved from Haiti to America. Haiti's another cool place. And for Black history, it is the first country in European terminology, right? Because this is no disrespect to our indigenous brothers and sisters, right? But it's considered the first free country in the American hemisphere. So up until that point, all the colonies that existed were, or I should say all the places that existed in the Americas were part of colonies. So Haiti actually earned their freedom from France in a very long fought battle that starts with a slave insurrection, or I should say enslaved people's insurrection, and ends with a second defeat of France. And the second time they defeated Napoleon, who's considered one of the best military strategists. So not only did so not only did Haiti defeat them, but they also almost bankrupted them. And that also was exacerbated, of course, by the fact that they also were in the midst of the French Revolution as well. So shout out to Haiti. And Irma, your family speaks, they speak Patois, right? Or Creole, sorry, French Creole. Did we lose Irma again? Uh-oh. All right, so anybody else? Anybody else migrated before we move on? Going once? Going twice? All right. So let me go back to my screen. All right, so before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, I want to share with you guys some definitions that I think you're going to need. And the first one is white supremacy. So a belief that the white race is superior to all other races and ethnic groups. And white supremacy has been the cause of countless terror and horror inflicted upon indigenous people, unfortunately, in this country, as well as Black people who are descendants of African people. So, and not only that, but also just other people of color. And so global, relating to the whole world. And so in putting these two terms together, global white supremacy is the belief that the white race is superior to all other races and ethnicities and should dominate them. This belief exists on a global scale. And it's important that we keep that in mind, because a lot of times when we're talking about history, we're, again, only focused on the US. We're only focused on what is around us. And so, as I told you guys before, we're going to be starting off small and kind of working our way out. And so today, I wanted to just introduce a website to you. And that website is called Going North. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Great Migration, and we're going to talk even more about the Great Migration tomorrow, but today is kind of like we're just going to go in depth and focus on one single thing. So we're going to talk about the Great Migration. And the Great Migration was really important because what happens is you have millions of Black people who are essentially leaving the South and coming north. And there are a lot of push and pull factors as a result. Let me just put that up here. And again, we're going to talk about this in more depth tomorrow. But make sure you guys are able to see this board. Okay. So there are going to be a lot of push and pull factors for the Great Migration. And for the push factors, think of it as what is pushing a person out of their home country or home place or home city or home state. And so for those of you that have migrated, I'm sure your parents have probably shared with you, or if you have people in your family, maybe it's a parent or uncle or aunt, but for those, or grandparents, but for those who know someone who has migrated, or if you have migrated yourself, you know there's a bunch of reasons why you move, right? And so if your parents haven't shared that with them, maybe ask. Or if the person that you know that have migrated, maybe this would be a good time to ask, like, why did you migrate? Why did you move from one place to the other? And so a lot of the push factors regarding the Great Migration is going to revolve around terrorist actions, and like literally everything falls under there, right? So from economics to education and all that's in between. And there is one particular, oh, and also for those of you who are doing the project, the voluntary project, this is also good for you guys to pay attention to. Hopefully you'll get some ideas in terms of like questions or ideas in terms of how your interview could go by doing what we're about to do today. So, okay, can everybody see that? Awesome sauce. All right. One of the best things anybody could have ever done regarding the Great Migration is interview people who migrated, because now we have their full stories, why they migrated, what was their life like before migration. And this particular interview is very important because this was given by someone by the name of Beulah Collins. And it was given on August 1st, 1983. So that was 2 years before I was born. And so she shares a bit of information about what her life was like before migrating. And then she talks about the moving process. So we're just going to listen to a few of the memories that she shared. And then we're going to have like a task for you guys to do. So let's start with here.
Okay, all set?
Yes, I think I'm right.
Okay. Your name is Beulah Collins?
Yes.
And how old are you, Beulah? Did you say?
I'll be 91 the 28th this August. This month.
Well, congratulations on making it that far. You aiming for 100 or? Where were you born?
I was born on the Eastern Shore, Snow Hill, Maryland. You ever down on the Eastern Shore.
No, I don't have family from Glencoe, Maryland,
Uh-huh.
but know very little about the Eastern Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about your youth growing up down there?
Yes, uh-huh. Well, I was raised in the country, down on the farm, where they raise cattle and vegetables and things like that. My mother used to have a garden. My father used to worked on a farm, and they raised horses and cattle and things like that. I remember when I was quite a child, my mother used to plant gardens. We raised our own vegetables. And my father used to get me, as I said, we were raised on a farm. He used to get up early, go milk the cows and feed the horses and bring the milk home, old-fashioned way, put it in big pans and it'd stand for a certain time. Take the cream off it, the top off it, the top came to the cream, the top. Skimmed it off and churned it in an old-fashioned churn that made our butter. Mama used to raise chickens. You ever seen the farm?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
My aunt lives up in the Delaware Water Gap, and she lives on a farm up there. So I
raised her chickens, and now it's I find out since I've come to North that a lot of people like to hear me talk about the southern part of the state, down there where I was raised. This where we raised our chickens. Right. They laid the eggs. Hen sat on them for 3 weeks. It's so funny. Sat on those eggs for 3 weeks. And little bitties would pip out that shell. Would come out of that shell. They'd pip out of it. And at a certain time, it would come out. A little bit out of that shell. And you'd raise that. Take those bitties. And that mother, which was a hen, would take care of those chickens. It was so funny when I think of it and tell some of the people since I've been to North about how this hen would look after bitties, And she would take care of them bitties after they got so they could run around. Seems as if she knew her bitties.
Okay, so we're going to skip ahead just a little bit.
They'd come up and they'd stand there to the gate waiting for you to let them in so they'd get the supper. Oh, it's funny. So that's about all I believe I can think about.
Oh my goodness.
Can you when did you come up to Philadelphia? When did you come north?
Well, I was married in 1917. I lived down there until after I was married and had my baby. And I lost my husband real early. He died before the baby was born. And of course, my health got bad. And I had older brothers and sisters, and they said, Beulah, why don't you come to Philadelphia? You can go to hospitals and get treatments, and maybe that will help you. Well, that was encouraging to me. That's how come I had to come up here. My boy was young. And then after I came up here, and I saw people had better chance for education up here than what we did down there. And I wanted my boy to have an education. Then I decided to come up here where I thought he could have a better education. That was one of my main reasons I had my child in view. Uh-huh.
So you say you have brothers and sisters that already come up?
They were half brothers and sisters. and they were older than me. They had interest in me, and they knew my health was bad, and I had lost my husband and had this baby, and my health was bad, and they thought they were up here, and they knew about the clinics and things, and they thought, oh, well, if I'd come up here, that I could go to the clinics and get treatments and then work some too, you know, and have to take care of the baby. So that's the really of my coming up.
What brought your half brothers and sisters up to Philadelphia?
Well, they're all gone now.
Yeah.
They're passed.
Do you remember what brought them up to the city?
Well, they were older than me. No, I can't tell what would bring them up because they were older than I.
So when you came up, did you know anything about Philadelphia before you came?
All right, so I love that interview. One, because I can't believe that she's 90-something years old and she has so much spirit in the way that she talks. And this is why it's so important to talk to your family members. She does sound really sweet, absolutely. And this is why it's so important to be able to talk to your family members, because you never know what stories they have. You never know what history they've lived through and what history they have. And so, you know, unfortunately, we're all going to, you know, leave at some point. And so it's about leaving that history and that legacy for people to be able to know what happened during that time period and to know your story. So this is why it's optional, but we would really love if you guys partake in that assignment, in that particular assignment, because you just have no idea what you'll be able to find and what you'll be able to learn. And Ms. Wood, that's amazing that you are related to her. Did you, obviously you had a chance to meet her, and do you want to share like how you're related or anything like that? Are you trying to talk, Miss Wood? Are you muted? I don't know what's going on with the mics.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad I came in late because I'm excited. As part of the Collins family, my grandmother's name was Bessie Collins.
Okay.
And we're also related to Henrietta Lacks.
Wow.
I did. Yes, this is part of the Lacks crew.
Wow. So for 1 second, for those of you who do not know Henrietta Lacks, you should know her because the healer cells were taken from her cells. So essentially, she had cancer, and this is incredible. This is like history right here. She had cancer, and they like illegally housed her cancer cells, and they later were able to use her cancer cells to help, like, was it like to find like cures for different things?
Cures for things, and they're all over the world.
Yes, and obviously made. I mean, you can tell it better than I can. What am I doing?
You're doing a great job. I only learned that we related several years ago, okay, but it answered questions that we had growing up, because this is on my mother's side, but my father never wanted us to go to doctors. He never wanted us to have blood drawn or anything, and we never understood why. And it wasn't until about 6 years ago, actually, that one of my cousins found out that that was the reason why, because they were telling us that we had different problems and they were drawing our blood because of the cell from the DNA. So that's why they were keeping us from the doctors.
Oh my goodness.
Because they did not want them to know that we were here in Philly.
That is amazing. That I can't even like wrap my head around that. It's so crazy how the universe works that you are in here at this time when we're talking about this and this is your relative. Like, you gotta just love history.
Yes, because when I saw the name, I said, could it be?
Yes.
And then I kept reading. I said, yes, it's the same person.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So it is definitely a small world. You guys just got a treat. Wow. And what other history class would this have happened in, right? It's not this virtual class that's happening right now. So
Because it definitely didn't happen in mine.
yes, it didn't happen in mine either. Thank you so much, Miss Wood.
Thank you for having the name up there for me to see.
Absolutely. All right. So what I wanted to do, I am going to put a copy of this website in the, and I'm going to stop presenting. I am going to put a copy of this website in the chat box. So what I would like for you guys to do is actually take a look around. Find someone that you find interesting, click on their name, and make sure your mic is muted when we break off. But we're gonna give you guys about 6-7 minutes to find someone interesting, listen to a little bit of their story, try to focus on like the areas where they're talking about, you know, what was their life like before, and then the move to wherever they're going and why they moved, what was the catalyst for them moving. And then we're going to come back in at 7 minutes and we're going to report back. So you can either set a timer by opening up a new tab and then just type in 7-minute timer, and then a timer will start for you automatically. I'm also going to set a timer, but I don't know if you'll be able to listen to me or if you'll be able to hear it. You should still be able to hear me, hopefully. Let me put this in the chat box. And before we get started, does anybody have any questions about anything or any comments? Okay. So I put the website in the chat box. What I want everyone to do right now is click that link, start looking through some of the interviews. Maybe you find someone's face interesting or you find their name interesting, and that's the person that you want to click on. But I want you guys to like just play around with it and see what you can find on this website. So let me. My watch doesn't want to work right now. Seven minutes. Okay. Starting now. Go. So Miss Williams, can you hear me or are you searching through the website too? Miss Williams is searching too.
I was searching for my mic.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
I know, it's incredible. It's really incredible. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's just really incredible. And then Henrietta Lacks and just having to protect your DNA.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, again, it all just ties to current and the reason why we're being impacted so much, you know.
Right, due to the coronavirus, because can we trust this thing? And like, you know, there's so many unknowns. Yeah, it's really frustrating. Muhammad is in the house. I just realized Muhammad is here. Hey, Muhammad. I see a few more of my kids on today.
Yeah, nice.
I really love this website. It's like what inspired me to like talk to my dad and ask him his migration story, since he's from Alabama. And I never like it just, even just being a history teacher, it didn't occur to me to ask him why he migrated, because also he was very closed off, which a lot of older people from his era were. Like, you don't ask them questions.
Yeah.
And if you do ask a question, they like give you bare minimum. They're not going to exaggerate, but explain more, elaborate more, not exaggerate. But I'm noticing like he's 80, he'll be 84. So the older he gets, the more he's willing to share about that time period.
What's the connection of this website in Philadelphia?
This website, so Philadelphia is like a major hotspot in terms of where people went for the Great Migration. And I'm pretty sure that this was created here. But let me just double check, because maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I see a lot of Philly connection.
Yeah, Temple Universities. The Bloxton collection was used to digitize, were used to access some materials and to digitize them and publish them. So I am thinking that this website was created here. Yes. I'm looking at, let me click on the About Me. Yeah, it's so crazy because, when I went to Chicago, by the way, if you guys are listening, we have 3 minutes and 8 seconds left. When I went to Chicago over the summer, they have like a beautiful Great Migration statue. And I'm like,
yeah. I've never been to Chicago.
Okay. So I went when I was like in my early 20s, and I went for a convention, so I didn't get a chance to see the city. That was around the time where my dad started to be a little bit more open about our family history. And so he was like, you got family in Chicago. So if you open up the phone book and just look up Ridgeway, like they're your family. So you should just call them. But you're 20. So you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I was in Chicago, but I never really realized that I had so much family there until this summer. They had a family reunion. That was like my reason for going. And their Great Migration statue is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna share it with the kids when they come back too, because I forgot I had it. But you should go, Liz. Their food is amazing.
I know. That's all I want to do is travel around America and eat.
Yeah, that's like the best thing ever.
It is. I gotta get to Memphis. I gotta get to St. Louis. I gotta get back to New Orleans. I gotta get to Houston. I've been in Houston, but only in the airport. I've been in New Orleans, but I want to go back. Even in Miami, eating at the Cuban spots in Miami, just traveling through America and eating. Korean spots in California. I need to hit up some more of those.
And I've never been to Cali, so.
Yeah, I've been, but I went to like wine country, so I didn't go to. And another time I was there for a conference in LA, but we didn't get out much, and so yeah, just want to travel around America and eat.
Yes, same. It looks like we're starting to get some of the kids back. We got 52 seconds left, but it looks like Sam is back, and Rukaya is back, Cam is back, Simone is back. So we'll just wait a few more seconds. Yo, yo, yo. Oh, I gotta love these kids. Wow. So, Sam, do you want to kick off the sharing? Do you want to unmute yourself and kick off the sharing? And if you don't want to unmute yourself because you don't want to be on the mic, which is totally fine, just type up a little bit of blurb about what you were able to discover. So give us the name, and then who you or what their story is. All right, and that's our
Yeah. It was Russell F. Mayton, and like he was like related to Theophilus Mayton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that Theophilus Mayton was like one of his relatives during the time period, and also like he was like believed that he was the founder of Mercy Douglas Hospital that is in Haiti. Yeah, something like that.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
did he talk about why he left? What city did it? What state what city did he come from? And did he talk about why he left, or were you not able to?
Not because like the main thing he was like focusing on is like explain like the clinic and stuff like that, and also like he didn't have like when you're coming up growing up, he started talking about his background when you're coming up, like he didn't have access to like go for scholarship and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, that he have a poor background, something like that. Like the Russell Mayton, that's what he was saying, but like he didn't say where he came from. Like, it's like when it was going from like I think he was going to say, but like, it's like an hour or so.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share? Okay, going once. Going twice. Okay. So, Irma, mine was an interview of Marie Mathis. Okay, and Irma, where was she from? If you can remember. Oh, you guys all kind of did the same thing. Okay. All right, it looks like I think that was about it for all who wanted to share. So thank you guys for sharing. Hopefully you got some more insight on why people migrated during the Great Migration. And again, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in detail. And tomorrow we're going to get, more information regarding like why, the specific reasons why people migrated. Is not enough to just say white supremacy, right? What does that entail economically? What does that entail educational on the educational level? And okay, Rukaya did Ruth Haught, who lived in Georgia before migrating to Philly. Awesome. Sam. Oh my God. Y'all can do that when the bell ring. Oh, oops. It rang already. So yeah, so we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Ms. Williams, do you have anything you want to add before we?
No, I really love that website. Thanks for taking us through it. I'm going to look through it a little bit more after we get off too.
Absolutely.
And if you have a minute, call me when we're off.
Yes, I'm going to call you. And for, everyone, for my kids that are here, please look out for a message from the principal that will be coming soon. And then we can figure out a time to talk about it, because yeah, this is going to be interesting. But thank you guys all for being here. I'm so happy to see. If you guys, if I haven't seen you, if this is your first time being in here, please unmute yourself and say hi. I'm going to stop the recording right now. But I haven't heard some of y'all voices in